Ever wondered why we celebrate New Year on the first day of January instead of any other day? Well, let's journey back in time to the cradle of civilization, ancient Babylon. Here, our ancestors celebrated the arrival of a new year, not on January 1st, but on the first new moon following the vernal equinox, a day in late March with an equal amount of sunlight and darkness. This marked the beginning of a new year and was celebrated with a religious festival known as Akitu. Much like us today, the Babylonians viewed this time as one of renewal and rebirth, a chance to start anew. And they weren't alone. Throughout history, civilizations across the globe have tied the start of the new year to significant agricultural or astronomical events. For instance, in ancient Rome, the new year began at the vernal equinox as well. But as time passed, their calendar fell out of sync with the sun. To rectify this, Julius Caesar introduced the Julian calendar in 46 BC, which closely resembles our modern Gregorian calendar. And with it, he changed the start of the new year to January 1st in honor of the Roman god Janus, the deity of beginnings and transitions. But hold on, why January 1st and not any other day? Well, that's a tale for another scene. So it seems that the celebration of the new year has been a part of human culture for thousands of years. And while the dates might have changed, the spirit of rebirth and renewal that came with it remains the same. From ancient Babylon to our modern world, the new year continues to be a time of celebration and hope for the future. But why January 1st? The answer lies in the Julian calendar. This calendar was introduced by none other than Julius Caesar himself in 46 BC, and it bears a striking resemblance to the Gregorian calendar we use today. The Roman calendar that was in use before the Julian one was a bit out of sync with the sun. As a result, the start of the year kept shifting. Julius Caesar, with his knack for organization and order, decided it was time for a change. He introduced the Julian calendar, a solar-based system, which had 365 and a quarter days in a year, just like our modern calendar. But why did Caesar pick January 1st as the start of the year? Well, this decision was more than just about dates and numbers. It had a significant cultural and religious undertone. January, or Januarius in Latin, was named after the Roman god Janus, who was the deity of beginnings, transitions, and endings. Janus is often depicted with two faces, one looking forward to the future and the other looking back at the past. What better symbol for the start of a new year than a god who looks both ways? But it wasn't just the symbolism that made January 1st the start of the year. January was also the time when the Roman consuls, the highest elected political officials in Rome, took office. So the start of the year was tied to a politically significant event as well. So thanks to Julius Caesar and his Julian calendar, January 1st became the first day of the year. It was a decision rooted in both practicality and symbolism, reflecting the Romans' reverence for their gods and their desire for order and organization. And so, even though calendars have evolved over time, we still start our year on January 1st, a testament to the enduring influence of Roman culture and Julius Caesar's reforms. So, January 1st became the first day of the year thanks to Julius Caesar and his Julian calendar. The story doesn't end there. Enter the Gregorian calendar. In the year 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced a new calendar system to correct a small but significant inaccuracy in the Julian calendar. You see, the Julian calendar was roughly 11 minutes longer than the solar year, and over centuries, this discrepancy caused the calendar to fall out of sync with the seasons. To correct this, Pope Gregory XIII proposed a calendar that was more in line with the solar year. This new calendar, aptly named the Gregorian calendar, was gradually adopted by countries all over the world. Today, it is the most widely used calendar system. But what about New Year's Day? Well, Pope Gregory XIII did something else significant. He reinstated January 1st as the start of the new year. You might ask, why January 1st? The answer lies in ancient Roman times. January was named after the Roman god Janus, the deity of beginnings and transitions. Janus is often depicted with two faces, looking both backward into the old year and forward into the new, making him the perfect symbol for the new year. When Pope Gregory XIII reinstated January 1st, he was honoring this ancient tradition, and in doing so, he cemented January 1st as the start of the new year in the Gregorian calendar. This decision was not universally accepted immediately, and it took some time for all countries to adopt it. For example, it wasn't until 1927 that Turkey, one of the last countries to do so, finally accepted the Gregorian calendar. And that's how January 1st was cemented as the start of the new year. Now that we've covered the history, let's delve into how we celebrate New Year's Day today. In our modern world, traditions vary widely, but each aims to welcome the new year with joy and optimism. Parties are a common fixture, often filled with music, dancing, and the company of loved ones. As the clock strikes midnight, it's customary in many places to share a toast, preferably with a bottle of champagne opened at a 45-degree angle to prevent the cork from flying out too fast. Food, too, plays a significant role in New Year's celebrations. Certain foods are considered good luck if consumed as the calendar flips. For instance, in some cultures, legumes which swell when cooked symbolize a prosperous year ahead. New Year's resolutions are another popular tradition. Despite statistics showing that around 80% of these self-promises are forgotten by February, the practice persists as a symbol of hope and self-improvement. Fireworks displays light up the sky in many parts of the world, a tradition that dates back centuries. In New York City, the iconic Times Square ball drop, a tradition started in 1904, draws millions of viewers each year. This glittering sphere, made up of over 2,600 crystal triangles and lit by more than 32,000 lights, is a modern marvel that signals the start of a new year. Different regions have their unique traditions. In Rio de Janeiro, it's considered good luck to make 7 wishes while jumping 7 waves. Danish folks throw plates at the front door to usher in good fortune. Other cities like Mechanicsburg and Dillsburg drop a wrench and a pickle, respectively, in their unique takes on the ball drop. Baby New Year, symbolizing rebirth, is a tradition that goes back to ancient Greece and is still celebrated today. People often don festive outfits to mark the occasion, adding a splash of color and fun to the festivities. As you can see, despite our varied traditions, the spirit of welcoming a new beginning unites us all. Before we wrap up, let's briefly touch on a popular New Year's tradition: making resolutions. This practice dates back thousands of years to the ancient Babylonians, who made promises to their gods at the start of each year. These weren't quite the lose weight or quit smoking resolutions we think of today, but were more along the lines of paying off debts and returning borrowed items. Fast forward to today, and the tradition has evolved, but the core concept remains the same. It's all about using the new year as a clean slate, a fresh start. We set goals for ourselves, aiming to improve and grow in the upcoming year. Be it personal development, healthier habits, or professional achievements, these resolutions symbolize our hopes for positive change. Interestingly, while around 80% of New Year's resolutions are forgotten by February, the tradition endures. Why? Because it's not just about the goal itself, but the aspiration for improvement, the optimism for a better tomorrow. Whether or not we stick to them, New Year's resolutions reflect our constant desire for growth and betterment. So, that's the story of why we celebrate the new year on January 1st. We've traveled through time, from the ancient Babylonians who marked the new year with the first new moon after the vernal equinox, to the Romans who, under Julius Caesar, introduced the Julian calendar with January 1st as the year's commencement. Pope Gregory XIII later reinstated this date in the Gregorian calendar, a system we still use today. We've seen how modern celebrations burst with diversity, from the iconic Times Square ball drop to Denmark's plate-throwing tradition. We've also delved into the significance of New Year's resolutions, a tradition as enduring as it is challenging, with a majority of resolutions forgotten by February. But, hey, there's always another new year to try again, right? Before you go, remember to hit the like button if you found this video informative and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating insights. Here's to a fantastic new year.